Hello and welcome to TaンガルーマQuad Bike Tours. We hope you're looking forward to having some fun on our fabulous quad tour today.
Here at Taンガルーマ, we pride ourselves on operating a safe quad bike tour. Quad bikes can be dangerous, and for this reason you must follow everything during this briefing and everything that the guides say to you. If you do this, you will be safe while on tour. We also designed the tour for the least skilled person on that tour, and once that person is safe, then everybody on the tour will be safe also. Now we're going to get familiar with the bikes. Rest assured, these bikes are very easy to operate once you're familiar with the basics.
When getting onto your quad bike, grab both handles, one with each hand. Place your foot in the footwell here. Then lift your other leg over the seat and sit down. You need to maintain 3 points of contact at all times.
Position yourself in the middle of the seat, not too far forward and not too far back. You must lock your knees into the fuel tank like this to maintain control of the bike. Please don't attempt to stand up at any stage. You must remain seated on tour at all times.
All wheels have brakes. The brake positions are slightly different depending on your bike today. If you're on a red bike, your front brake is on the right handlebar and your rear brake is on the left handlebar. Now, in an emergency situation, you need to put both brakes on at the same time. The rear brake on the left-hand side is the one you will use by itself. It's a cable brake and engages only the rear wheels. The front brake on the right-hand side is a hydraulically boosted brake, and it's the brake that you should never use by itself. If you do use just the front brake, the wheels will lock and you will come off the bike. If you're on a blue bike today, the throttle is on the right-hand side and you will only have one handbrake which is on the left handlebar. This is for the front brakes. You then also have a foot brake in the footwell on the right side, which is for the front and rear brakes. Your foot should not be rested on the foot brake while riding. And if you're on a tandem, again, you only have one handbrake, but it's on the right handlebar and this is for the front brakes. The throttle is also on the right-hand side, which makes life easier. You then also have a foot brake, which is located in the footrest on the right side, which is for the front and back brakes. In an emergency situation, you will need to apply both your handbrake and your foot brake. While riding, your fingers should always be on the handlebars and not over the handbrakes until you need to use them.
We'll be heading down to the beach where we'll be practicing some of our emergency brake tests. This is where you apply all of your brakes at the same time. Now you will have to be comfortable with this procedure before heading out on tour. Now, to get the bike moving, you will need to use the throttle. It is a very sensitive apparatus, so when you put your hands on the handlebars, don't just hold the throttle with the tip of your thumb, as it may slip off like this. What you want to do is place your hand on the handlebars, placing your whole thumb over the throttle. When you first set off, it is important that you use the throttle very slowly and gently. Slowly put pressure on it until you start to move off. Then you can just keep your thumb in the same position to maintain the same speed. Press a little harder to go slightly faster, and of course, slowly release the pressure to slow down. Once again guys, for emergency braking, you need to use both brakes at the same time. If you want to slow the bike down, just a little pressure on the left-hand brake will be enough to slow the bike down.
Steering your quad bike is really easy. It's just a simple pushing and pulling action on the handlebars to turn left and right, just like this. To make for a safe ride, sit up straight, locking your knees into the fuel tank. Then you can use your body weight to help steer the bike. If you're turning right, you will lean to the right to keep the quad balanced. And if you're turning to the left, you lean to the left to keep the quad balanced.
Now, we're going to start the tour by doing an emergency brake test. These bikes stop very quickly, so before you complete your emergency brake test, make sure you have your knees locked into the tank, both hands on the handlebars, and get ready to stop when we say stop. Remember, use both brakes to come to an emergency stop. You must engage an emergency stop at any time it is required on tour. Once you've passed the emergency brake test, we're going to take you down onto the beach to practice your turns.
This is an opportunity to practice using your accelerator and your brakes. Simply follow the bike in front of you at all times. Always be ready to brake if they stop. The guide will complete turns on the beach so you can get used to steering, to turning and to using your brakes. If you do miss a corner and come away from the track, stop your bike using both your emergency brakes. Put your hands up and wait for assistance. And when you're on tour, you need to do this every time you stop. Just pop your hand up like this and one of the guides will see you and come to assist.
Today we will be riding in a line, following directly behind the guide. When we're riding the tracks, it is really important to look the way you want to go. Always look forward and keep an eye on the bike in front of you to make sure you keep a safe distance. We'll all stay in the same track, so follow directly behind the bike in front of you. You don't want to be looking left and right and all over the place, as subconsciously you will end up steering that way. So please guys, keep your eyes on the bike in front and always be ready to use the brakes.
To stay safe on tour, we all need to wear a helmet. You should all have a helmet by now, so you need to simply place it on your head, pull the strap through the 2 metal clips, and then back through the first metal clip closest to your chin. Pull the strap tight, push down on your head to check the fit, and you're good to go.
So a few quick reminders before we get started. Keep your feet on the bikes at all times. Don't stick your feet out, as this will cause an accident. Please keep a safe distance from the bike in front of you. So a couple of bike lengths at all times to avoid any collisions. We offer a very safe quad tour, so please follow the guide's instructions at all times. Please, no fishtailing or riding dangerously. If you don't follow our instructions, the guides will stop you and give you a warning. If they have to give you a second warning, the guide may choose to ask you to leave the tour, and you may have to walk back. And trust me, it's a long walk, so we don't recommend that. And to stop, remember to use both brakes together until you come to a complete stop.
And finally, before we get started, can you please make sure you have all filled in your green waiver form and signed it? You will soon be asked to head down to the bikes where one of the guides will take it from you while you're on the bike. And remember, when you sign that form, you're accepting that you are participating in a potentially dangerous activity, though it's only dangerous if you don't follow the instructions you have just been given. Alright guys, now's the time to head on down to the bikes, grab your waiver forms, but please, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask one of the guides.